I have been weeping a great deal, especially in the mornings. I wake up suddenly feeling very tired, and then I find I weep.
Mm-hmm. Fine. Well, let's just get this off. There we are.
I'm afraid it leaves me so exhausted. I find I cannot do very much. Shopping becomes a struggle, that sort of thing. You do understand, Alan, don't you?
Yes, of course. Well, it's a long time since you had anything wrong with you, isn't it?
Oh, I'm very well.
Mm-hmm. Except for crying a lot.
Yes.
Well, I better have a look at you. You'd like to pop behind the screen?
It's all perfectly silly, really. I don't want to waste your time.
You just tell me what you want to.
I'm afraid I've got myself into the most frightful muddle.
Oh. Just lie on the couch.
When John died, I felt somehow a duty to cherish his memory. More than that, to keep it alive.
Mrs. Fox.
Good morning.
May I introduce Jack Ives? Jack's our newest recruit.
You mind rather a dirty old hand. How do you do?
Pleased to meet you. What's the problem?
It's very complicated. Well, though, perhaps in a way it isn't. It's the chippings. Dirty, greeny, you know? What does one do?
I had thought of getting some new ones, but it's very expensive, isn't it?
Dreadful. Mustn't complain.
Well, you know what I'd use? Bleach. Good old toilet bleach.
What a very good idea. I've got a bucket in the house. Shall we fetch it?
I'm going to prescribe something quite mild, which should help you to sleep a bit better. Have you talked to them?
Who?
To your children.
I can't any longer. Not now. 2 years ago, the Christmas they gave me the projector and my grandchildren gave me the slides to go with it. I could then, I thought.
It doesn't only happen at night when the lights are down and the evening time is wonderful. The moon is full and everything is jumping. It doesn't only happen at night. All kinds of love is everywhere, dividing up and equal.
Yes, all you have to do is press the button and away it goes. Yes, there we are.
Oh, just like my mother.
Very nice. Very nice. Here we are now. Oh, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry about that.
It really is a most marvelous machine. Much more fun than television.
Isn't it a bit loud?
Is it too loud?
Well, I think it's a bloody awful noise.
I want a tango.
I can't.
So I'll pick
Mummy, do you want a refill?
Darling, thank you.
Hello. Everything all right upstairs?
Yes.
She's asleep then, eh?
I said yes.
What do you think her silver's worth?
I don't know.
Well, what does Peter think?
I don't know. Mummy, shall I put you down here?
Oh, darling, thank you.
For Christ's sake, relax.
Well, then do what I say. Look at my feet.
You haven't a clue. Look, I'll be man. Here.
Well, who's she left it to?
For God's sake, she's not dead yet.
Tango, Gerald. What do you make of it?
Oh, awfully good. Pathetic.
I feel like Brando in Paris.
You haven't the remotest resemblance.
The butter, eh?
Don't be so revolting.
You can't bloody well have rent on a mortgage.
Oh, yes, I can.
You're cheating. Get that back.
Shut
Rent.
3. 1, 2, 3. Watch out. Your turn on. No, rent. 7.
What do you think her silver's worth, Peter?
£20, please.
Several thousand.
Now, who's she left it to?
Everything's equally divided.
For Christ's sake, you're being pretty sordid.
Why?
6.
Talking about Annabel's money like this, especially here.
I agree.
We've got to be realistic. Besides, it's very important to us all. As a family.
Okay, pick up your commission.
Balls.
Can I have £10 from each of you, please? Yes.
I was wondering if perhaps you could possibly advance us a...
What the hell do you think she's up to? What?
I was wondering if perhaps you could possibly advance us a loan.
Give me 5.
Really?
It's my idea.
To whom?
Well, couldn't she give us the house? Then we could live in it until she departs hence.
Why don't you put it to her?
Rent. Rent, Emma. Rent.
Shut up!
Granny, do you know where my anorak is?
It's in the airing cupboard in my pocket. You know where to look?
Thanks.
Oh, for heaven's sake, go to the loo. Look, everyone else has been and we're not stopping on the way home.
I don't want to.
Well, try to do something. Bye, Mummy. Don't bother to come out, we're all in the car. Oh, one last thing. Had a brief chat with Susan last night after you'd gone to bed. I think we've got rather a good little scheme.
Oh, that's nice.
Why don't you think about the idea of moving somewhere a little cozier? Hmm? Somewhere you won't rattle about in.
Oh, darling.
Don't say anything now. Just think about it.
I dream a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Of John. Our honeymoon in Provence before the war. I feel, when I dream, exactly as I did when I was 20. Especially if I dream of physical things and of love.
Mm-hmm.
Am I very tiresome?
Not at all. Let's have a glass of sherry. I've got no more customers.
You never talk about yourself, Alan.
Because it's very mundane. My own problem is a very small one, really. Very usual. I've had to accept a degree of sadness. Wife who left me.
Isn't it extraordinary? I never knew that.
So I've also had to do a good deal of talking to friends good enough to listen. It's interesting how we all depend on talking and very rarely admit as much.
I depended on Jack. But I must confess he came from a very different background to mine. And John's, for that matter. I didn't know we had anyone new working at the church.
Well, idle hands make mischief. And I like to keep busy.
My husband was much the same.
Army?
No, he was a solicitor. Very much the family lawyer. And you?
Regimental Sergeant Major, Coldstream Guards.
You wore a busby.
It was a bearskin.
How very romantic.
You know, I was nearly 7 feet tall in it.
Good Lord. Oh.
You know, it's a shame about this greenhouse. Wouldn't take much to put it right, you know. Get it smart. You could grow things. Look, I'll tell you what, I'll keep an eye on things for you.
Oh, how kind.
Thank you. Peter's found an absolutely delightful place at Trimley, near Felixstowe.
Oh, how lovely. You'll be able to come and see me more often.
No, Mummy, it's for you.
Me?
It's a charming place, run along the lines of a quiet hotel. All mod cons. The patron is a nice young widow.
I don't think I quite follow what you're saying, darling.
All the rooms have baths. Or we can arrange a little flat if you'd rather. They have those too. It really is a home from home.
Darling, this is home.
Well. Won't you drink that? Who's that?
It's Jack. He's helping me in the garden.
Oh. Anyhow, it would make much more sense to move now.
Now?
Well, soon.
Oh, I see.
You'll be much happier there, darling.
Well, if you let me have the name, I'll look it up in the hotel guide or something similar.
Well, no, it's not that sort of hotel.
An awfully gloomy conversation.
Well, we do have to think of the future, don't we? Going to try your ice cream, Eleanor? Peter says the hotel is a lovely place. He thinks it's in your best interests.
Oh, do tell him I look forward to inspecting it. And where?
Trimley.
Oh, near Lowestoft.
Felixstowe.
Yes.
What we used to do at Caterham, we'd plant the flowers in ranks. The idea was, for voice training, we'd have young soldiers give orders to the flowers.
And did you do that?
Oh, yes, we all had to go through it, you know.
I'd like to hear it.
It was frightening.
Well, go on, do it.
What you mean now? All right. You don't really want to...
Go on.
All right. Please God! Town! And then we'd say, You're up! Halt! Please God! By the left! Quick march! You know, I've seen grown men weep at the precision of a regiment. Of course, you probably wouldn't understand that.
I've heard of people talking to the flowers. I understand that's good for them. I can't think shouting at them was a very good idea, was it?
No. Kept the weeds in order.
That's very modern.
Is that your granddaughter at lunch?
Yes.
Handsome child.
Would you like to see some slides one evening?
Slides? Do you have slides?
Yes.
Well, I've got a whole collection of slides.
Well, bring them too.
I don't have a projector.
I have. I'd have thought at my age one wouldn't make mistakes of what years ago would have been called the romantic kind.
One's never too old to make mistakes of that kind.
Yes, but the awful thing is one has the sense there'll never be time enough left to put them right. Isn't that the agony of growing old?
Yes.
And I have been left with weeping because now the grave of my husband has become the symbol of my betrayal of him. I cannot find the courage to visit it.
Why should that frighten you?
It doesn't. It's shame I feel.
Used to swim just there. You see where the boat is by the pier?
Yeah.
You know, one day I swam right out to the end of that pier and back again.
It's a very long way.
Yes, it was. The wife liked Clacton most of all. So I bought the camera, as I knew there'd come a time when she couldn't go back there. She was getting ill then. Isn't that lovely?
Why are there no pictures of her?
She was a very shy woman.
Or wouldn't it have helped to bring her out of herself a little?
Well, I don't know. She grew to a large size. It was to do with her glands. And in the end, she just didn't like the photos.
I think they're very beautiful, Jack.
That's nice.
I mean it.
Well, it's funny, because I'll tell you what I did. You see, I had a system. I'd purchase up a selection of picture postcards. Because I was a bit nervous. It didn't seem to suit me walking around with the camera. And I'd take the postcards home and use what we call a close-up technique to copy the cards for slides. These. That way we have a professional record.
I see. All these are slides of postcards.
They are. And the best results come that way. This is Great Yarmouth.
Very nice, too. And your wife, what happened?
It was very sad. I had to make a new life. This is Lowestoft.
Yes, I went there once with my husband.
Felixstowe. Now, that's a good photo, isn't it?
Coffee.
Thank you. The thing is, Mum, none of us are getting any younger. It's very important to be completely frank and honest, you know? Straightforward. That's what you're always telling me, Susan.
Not really.
Precisely. I mean, look. A hotel allows for you to have as much time on your own as you could possibly wish. All the guests make their own worlds. Beautiful surroundings, everything laid on. As one gets on a bit, one must have new adventures, financial security, a steady life to care and be cared for. That's what life's about. Starting again. That's what we're all going to do. And I think it's all jolly good. Surely, Mum, you must agree. We're only thinking of you.
Night, Mummy. Sleep well.
Sleep well, Susan. I'm alone anyway. Dear God, give me strength. Do not leave me alone, please.
We try to keep the emphasis on the home, the idea of family. Colour. With a number of sets, we slip one in wherever we find a spare corner. Wrestling's a favourite. Do you enjoy it?
I don't think I've ever seen it.
Terribly popular. All our rooms have bathroom and central heating. Guests may bring a special piece of furniture or whatever makes the day go by, but no pets, please. This is Mrs. James. How do you do? She has an OBE. You don't mind, Mrs. James? No. Such a charming room. What happened to the last guest? She was a wonderfully brave woman, nearly 97. No visitors until the funeral, and would you believe 8 people turned up. She left a fortune. There we are. Oh, she died very peacefully, in the bath. How dreadful. She knew nothing about it. Such a lovely room, don't you feel? We encourage our guests to come down to meals.
A very expensive way to die. What did you think? Jack?
You really want me to say what's on my mind?
Didn't you approve?
Approve? Look, I mean, I get by. I have my pleasures. It's my life. I'm independent. But that place, no, I will not allow you to go there. Not now, not ever. Sorry. But if that's where your class sends its soul to die, then I'm glad. Annabel, I'm glad I know my place in life.
You don't think I might fit in rather well?
I don't understand what your children want.
I don't think I do either. Had I known that my daughter's husband was bankrupt, and that my son's wife was having an affair with a man half her age, that they were on the verge of divorce, that they were all unhappy, perhaps that would have made a difference. I deliberately did not interfere. I've always believed in not interfering in my children's lives. Trouble was, they'd grown so very far from me. Perhaps that was the reason.
Yet, of course, you wanted them nearer.
Yes. But there I was, with Jack.
Glad you like curry. I go to London, you know, to buy the spices.
And the bits and pieces.
I make my own mango chutney.
And I see you have limes.
Pickled.
My children have made a success of their lives in the modern way, but I'm bound to say they haven't made happy marriages.
Was yours a very happy one?
Oh, yes, it was. And I'm thankful for that. I was lucky to have a man who adored me. Possibly adored me rather too much.
Is that possible?
Oh, absolutely. I remember him once saying he thought of me as a chalice or goblet, a possession to be treasured. I was very touched by that. But then I never minded being dependent. I don't think that goes down very well with the young anymore. Rachel has described what she says is the feminist view of marriage. The open-ended situation, she described it. I don't think I know what that is. I read somewhere, a happy marriage excludes the children. The children of lovers are always orphans, and the unhappy marriage draws them closer to one parent. But then the children of the unhappy marriage lose out too, don't they? Children, I think, are always the losers. Now more than ever before.
I like the idea of that vase.
So did I. I'll have to go after this.
Do you really have to go?
Yes, I must. I must.
Well, you must do what you want.
When you
What?
do what I want. Stay with me. Walk with me back to my house. Stay with me. Will you?
I'd very much like that, Annabel. Thank you.
If I rummage about, I might find an old family razor. Slept well?
Like a top.
Me too.
Breakfast in bed?
One more glass, paradise. One more taste of your wine. One small reason, then I'll survive. This one small candle can shine. One more song that I can sing.
About a year ago, my grandchildren collected their pocket money together and bought me this record.
Those lines.
It's rather beautiful. I was awfully surprised.
Once more picture.
Do you like it?
With love inscribed. And I'll carry your gift for all time. I will glide. I will ride forever. Free as the wind, I will glide. I will glide.
I want to keep a record of all the work here. Now, we're going to take all the rest.
Not a minute.
All of you.
No.
Come. Sit.
Till then, one more space that I can fill. One more case of survive. One small lift and I'll fly until I can find Lady B by your side. I will glide. I will ride forever. Free as the wind, I will glide. I will glide.
Annabel.
And home when the weather turns, we'll climb up together.
Incredible.
Till then.
So tidy. There's bits of scraps and grass carried through the air. That song, is it about a seagull?
I never thought of that.
It's about a seagull. I'll bet it is.
I want to ask you something.
Yes?
2 things.
Well, carry on.
But I don't want to ask the second question here.
All right.
The first question is, would you come and have dinner with me tonight?
It's laundry night tonight.
I'll see to your laundry for you. Will you come and have dinner?
What's the other thing?
I'll tell you if you come and have dinner.
All right. Shall I bring a bottle?
No, just yourself.
And the laundry?
And the laundry. ask a man the most important question. It was also the last time. May I perhaps ask you this very important question? I'm so certain of what I want to say. May I perhaps tell you, Jack? I love you. I'm defenseless. There's little of sensible life left in me. My children have gone. And yet I love you. Please, Jack. Will you marry me?
Whichever way we look at it, you can't.
Oh?
It's ridiculous, Mother, please. I don't want to be unkind, but he's far younger than you. Do think of the children. He's so common.
Really?
You know perfectly well what Susan means.
I wonder if I do. I think perhaps I'm a little too weary to understand such things.
You must.
As one gets older, Susan, one doesn't feel one must necessarily do anything.
Would you consider postponing the wedding?
I'd have to talk to Jack. And honestly, Susan, no. I don't see why I should.
You've thought about Father?
Yes, Peter, I have. I have thought about him day in and day out. I have tended his grave. I've dressed it with flowers, especially the ones he loved. I have been very loyal. And you know something? Not one of his children have visited his grave since the day of his funeral. Have you? Whenever you visit me, it's to discuss my dispatch to that hellish place in Felixstowe. And one day, I suppose, you'll receive a telephone call to say that I've died, probably in the bath. And there will be a post-mortem. And I shall be cut up into bits and pieces and stuffed into plastic bags and plopped into a coffin.
Mother, stop it.
Do you find it distasteful?
Don't talk like that, Mother.
Why not?
It's very wounding to us.
Oh, is it? Well, never imagine that the old and weary do not think just once or twice about what their fate may be. You've heard enough of me. I'm going to decide about my future. Oh, I shall make provision for the grandchildren of some sort. We shall see, won't we?
All right, Annabel. Mother. Oh, 3.
Oh, dear.
Oh.
Rent, Granny.
Oh, dear, is it an awful lot of money?
£2,000.
Oh.
That's me bankrupt.
Oh, dear.
Oh, dear.
That's terrible, isn't it? Yes.
I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll pay my rent and then divide up my property amongst you.
Oh, please stay in the game, Granny.
I can't, darling. I've landed in a hotel in Mayfair, and that's frightfully expensive.
You can stay with me free.
Now, the bank considers that a very fair offer.
Well, that's what I'll do. I'll stay with you for a few days and then go bankrupt.
Good.
Why don't you join up with Jack and run the bank?
Now, that's a good idea.
Yes, that's what I'll do.
Because we're over here together, you see.
I wish I was the bank.
Ah, well, then, you wouldn't be able to
well,
play if you were the bank, would you? No.
Time for baths and bed.
Go on, now.
Good night, darling.
We'll turn them over there.
Are you my Granny?
Yes, I'm going to marry Granny.
Come on, darling. Let's go upstairs. There we are. Would you like the princess in the front tonight? Mummy, do you want to come and say goodnight?
Oh, Granny, do come.
Duty calls.
Go along then. Bathroom first, please, you lot.
Happy time?
Yes. Jack, leave all that. Come and sit down.
What'll it be, Jack?
Sherry, please. Thank you very much.
Peter?
No, not for me, thank you.
There we are, Jack.
Thank you.
Exhausting, aren't they?
Oh, I don't know.
Now, Jack, tell us about yourself.
Well, I don't like much talking about the past, Peter.
Well, here's cheers to that.
Married before?
You can't live on memories.
I think that's right.
I admire your mother for that. The past can drag you down.
Oh, I'll drink to that.
There is one thing I must mention to you, Jack. Please forgive me if I'm saying something difficult for you. Just give me a straight answer and we can forget it. Your wife, Jeannie, isn't it? You see, our family solicitor tells me that she's still alive. That you're still married to her. Is it true? It's not on, Jack, is it, old man? It's just not on.
I had lost one husband, then another before, as it were, I'd even married him.
You'll find a way of accepting that pain.
Will I? I don't know that I can be expected to anymore.
You will.
There could have been a way, if the children hadn't interfered. I get so confused about the way he left him. Did he pack that night, or was it next morning? But he seemed to know. Never another word.
Is there anything you'd like me to do?
Oh, no, Alan, thank you. I shall pick up the bits and pieces.
Don't forget that. Now, whenever you feel a bit down, you telephone me, hmm? Promise.
I promise.
I'll see you out.
Yes, I'm all right. Thank you.
I'll say good night then.
Annabel,
It was terribly absurd of me not to ask about your wife. I assumed she was dead.
I never thought.
I was very flattered when you agreed to marry me. I suppose I should be even more flattered now that I know you're married already. To be desired as the object of a bigamist must surely be a high compliment to a woman of my age, don't you think?
She lives with another man. She has done for years.
You are still married?
Yes.
I've never before thought of myself as forbidden fruit. I really ought to go.
Annabel. Are we parting as friends? Honorably? Because if
Dearest, don't. Please don't weep. Don't cry, Jack. We really must face the fact that we are both old, a little frail, and very confused. And we cannot afford to be sentimental anymore. I love you, Jack. For two old people to fall in love is terribly funny. Falling in love is always funny, isn't it? So pack your things, old man. You're coming home to live with me in sin.